care that much, but
Fuck 'em.
if I had to say it, I think for our generation, Dave Matthews was almost kind of the like Bob Dylan. He wrote these incredible
Yeah.
acoustic songs, and
Hmm.
he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go down in history by the end of everybody when they finally decide to stop hating him. He's gonna end up being bigger than he is now.
Yeah. I think that happens a lot. I think people
Yeah.
hit a certain level, and that's where the hate comes from. I
Well,
don't know if it's
also
jealousy.
look at
I don't know
the
what it is.
look at the direction music has gone now. It's
Hmm.
way away from that anything like that. I mean,
Oh
a few
yeah.
years ago it was like rock and metal and everything was at the height, and now
Right.
all pop music, and I don't mean pop music as in like popular music. I mean like bubblegum pop. It's all pop music now.
Bubblegum pop, hip hop, and I love hip hop.
Yeah, I
Don't get
like
me
hip hop.
wrong. Well, it's rap. I should say it's not hip
Eh,
hop really. It's
all right,
rap.
yeah, fair enough.
And there's good stuff out there. There's some of that shit I don't like my personally, but you know for the most part, I dig it. But it's all computers. It's all
Mm.
digital. It's all auto tune. It's all garage band. It's like where's the instruments?
It hurts my
You know?
feelings because I would hate to think that there was ever going to be a day where people learning how to play an instrument and really bonding with the craft of making music is just kind of snubbed out.
Yeah, man. And like back in the day, especially ska used to be kind of big, like the Mighty Mighty Boss
Yeah.
Tones. One of my
Real big fish.
favorites. Yeah, Real Big Fish.
Yeah.
Interviewed them too. They were awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just listening to them
They're
the other
cool.
day, man.
They're awesome, man. I always throw on that throwback stuff, and you know, especially with like ska music, you can incorporate trumpet
Mm.
or sax or these instruments that they give you at school, for marching band or school band or whatever. There used to be outlets for that, and now it's kind of not there. I guess. I mean, it's there still. You got certain bands like Monet. Janelle Monet does a lot of that kind of
I don't.
upbeat stuff, but for the most part, it's hard to you know it's hard for musicians like that and musicians in general to find a gig, to find a shtick, to
Mm.
find people to play with, even
Yeah.
because it's kind of depleted musician wise.
I'd say as far as like current stuff goes, I've been pretty infatuated with watching Tim Henson from Prolifia play guitar because I think he's just on another level, man.
I have never heard of them.
Check him out. His name is. You don't even have to check out the band. It's very like prog rock metal, but if you just look him up, it's Tim Henson. You look him up on YouTube. Watch him just play his guitar, and it is just. It's like he's taken guitar playing to the next level that nobody else can figure out. He does shit that just seems impossible. It's very tappy.
Love that.
He's doing a lot of tapping and harmonics, but he's there's not a part of the fretboard he doesn't touch when he's playing. I mean, it's incredible. I mean,
Is he
it's
more like a Steve Vai or more
no,
like a Buckethead?
neither,
Neither.
neither.
Awesome.
You'll
Even
just have to
better.
check it out because it's really hard to explain. Because a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, he's doing it on acoustic.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Tapping on acoustic.
big time.
Just
And
all over the place. Wow. I gotta definitely
you
look
have
it
to
up.
check him out. He's got this one. It's called Goat. I mean, it's an actual song, but there's a clip of him on the internet playing it on. I'm pretty sure it's his acoustic. And the first
Nice.
time I saw it, I was like, I don't ever want to play guitar again. I'm never going to reach this level. This is
Dreams are
it's
crushed.
it's insane. But check it out. But as far as other new music, there's just I'm a huge I'm from Massachusetts, but I spent the majority of my life in a town called Ocala. It's Ocala, Florida.
I'm familiar with it.
Okay,
I've
I
never
grew
been
up
there.
there. I grew up there. I've moved back and forth, but I've spent the majority of my life there. And my favorite band is A Day to Remember, and they come from that town.
Oh wow.
And
Old reference. That's cool.
I still
That's
listen to
cool.
them. Like they're still. I probably listen to them every day
That's awesome.
because I don't.
That's
I
awesome.
don't like the direction that music is going right now. It
Yeah.
like you said, it's all
Yeah.
computer generated, and it bums me out.
Yeah, there are no kill switches right now. There are no new Mighty Mighty Boss Stones.
Mm.
There's not even a Hootie and the Blowfish out there.
No, because he's
But
doing country
someone
music.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's cool. I would never hate on any music. There really isn't a genre I don't like. I get a lot of influences from
Okay.
all over, from reggae to pop to hip hop to metal to acoustic to instrumentals. I love beats. I love just listening to DJ Premier beats or Mad Lib, MF Doom kind of stuff. Um, yeah, you got to find those influences, and just because you play guitar doesn't mean you can't take on those kind of hip hop influences, because you just play a little riff, a
Mhm.
little thing in there, and you sample that, and that's a day. That
Absolutely.
day's done. So
So where
yeah.
where has all this taken you, like now with your playing? Like, um, what would you say has been the biggest turning point in your playing as of recently? Because I'm sure you're not doing the garage band stuff anymore.
No, no, for me, if I'm gonna play, I record it. So this is my podcast mic, but it's also a condenser mic. So for those who aren't familiar, yeah, you got one too.
Yeah.
They're the way to go,
Yeah.
man. Especially as a musician. If people out there aren't familiar, they're very sensitive and
Mm.
they're powered. So this thing, if my fan was on, you'd hear it basically. Um, and with this, it's 2 in 1. So I can actually record vocals or grab my acoustic and record on this thing. And so I would just go straight recording. I wouldn't even do anything different.
Nice.
It's tough to find gigs. Where do you play besides bars where you do cover bands? And nothing
Yeah.
against cover bands. I love that shit. But it's like, where do you play? How do you rise up today?
Mm.
It's difficult. It's difficult. So I think taking an independent approach, starting with recording in some way, anyway, even if you use a voice memo thing, just to
Mhm.
remember it, because that's hard too. You'll come up with things and then you'll forget about them, and then all of a sudden they pop back in, and it's like, well, where do I put this?
Every day.
Yeah. So it's that. But to answer your question, yeah, that I would start with just recording, and I'm just waiting. I'm basically waiting. I'm not really going out looking for a band, although I'd love to be in one. I think bands are the way to go. It just has to be the right thing at the right time with the right people, and I'd be full force.
Awesome, man. That's a good answer. I like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with waiting for what you want to come along, because there's nothing worse than getting stuck doing something because you love doing it, but maybe not being in the situation that you want to be in, because then it almost like diminishes your love for what you're doing, because it's not really what you want to do. And I've seen
It
people do
can.
that. I've seen people do that. It kind of hurts them.
It can. Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can kind of hurt your progress. I guess you can
Mm.
kind of plateau that way, which is when I plateau. That's when I take a break. I
Yeah.
walk away for at least a month, sometimes, maybe more. I actually recently I took like an 8 month break. I didn't
Wow.
touch the thing. I'd pick it up. I pick up the acoustic, the beater acoustic over here. I call it the beater acoustic because it takes a beating
Yeah. I got one of
to
those.
to Jasmine, but the wood is so molded so well because the person I bought it from was such a good guitar player that it's great.
I've
But
actually heard really good things about those guitars. I almost bought one just because I know they're not expensive, and I've heard they're pretty good.
they're legit. They're long lasting. They do the job. They're bright enough where you can sing "Kumbaya" or record or do what you're gonna do and still be heard. Um, yeah, it's there's nothing like an acoustic guitar. There really is. There really isn't. Rather, I mean, I even though I'll take breaks, especially when I plateau, and usually the best thing is to do that because then you come back with a new perspective. You come back and you'll play different stuff because for me, I hate it when I'm playing all the same chords or maybe playing them in different orders and I'm
Mhm.
trying to write a song, but it sounds like the last two and I don't have a chorus and it's like, brain's gonna explode. So that's when I walk away. I walk away and I come back to it. And, I have so many friggin' half-written songs and like random poetry lyrics here, and I got riffs over there, and right now I just haven't brought it all together. Yeah, We'll see what
Have
happens.
you put anything that you've recorded out there? Like, do you have anything on Spotify or anything?
No, not
No,
under my own name. No,
no.
I should, but I've just kind of gotten so entrenched in podcasting,
Oh,
and
I
because
I
I find
understand.
I find podcasting to be a lot like performing
Mm.
for music. I have a college radio background, independent, and internet radio. So it's a little different style. You got to really be ready because there is no post, so
Mm.
it's all on the fly. And I find that to be a lot like performing because sometimes when you're performing, yeah, man, you got your songs, but maybe you want to switch it up a little, or maybe a string breaks and you got to improvise. So or maybe, here's one for you, man. Maybe you're playing at a club in Boston and the bassist walks off and the, the audience starts to make that horseshoe
Mm-hmm.
around. So right in front of you, it's just empty. No one's there, and everyone's just spread out like against the wall. Like worst feeling ever, by the way, when that happens. But it's all these things that you kind of just have to walk through to get to where you're gonna be. I mean, for me, I never thought I'd be able to actually pick up a guitar and just play it without looking at it. And now I can just usually put on a song, and within a minute or two, I can figure out at least the chords that they're going with and the rhythm, and just go from there. And it's a passion, it's a love. I never really wanted to, or never really thought of making any money or being professional with it. That'd be great. But for me, it's a passion and a love, and it comes and goes. Who knows? I mean, maybe someone's listening to this podcast and they need a guitar player. Well, hit me up, dude, for
Hell
sure.
yeah.
If it's the right fit, it's the right fit. Like for a little while, I was kind of just floating. I didn't know who to play with. I couldn't find anybody to play with, so I just went on Craigslist and I looked up a I looked up a cover band that was looking for a guitar player. They were playing 80s and 90s cover songs. Shit, I not my first choice, but yeah, let's do it. Let's see how this goes. So I learned all the U songs and how to do that style, and so I bring that as an influence in. So that's
That's
usually how I
awesome.
go about it.
That's really cool, actually. Just like, oh, I got to play with somebody.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, I'm boring. I'm driving myself crazy. I'm getting nowhere. Let's figure out how to progress.
Nice. I'm going to make a big circle here, and I want to go back to the very beginning of this conversation to get to the very end of this conversation. When you bought your first guitar or whatever, you had that hammer. What are you playing now?
Good question. So well, these aren't the great ones. These are the beaters, I guess you could call them. I showcase a Schecter. I have a
Nice.
Schecter six string,
Which one?
badass metal guitar.
Which one you got? Is it like a Hellraiser?
I forget. This is, I really should know. I've been playing forever and I still don't know the names of
It's
things.
fine.
But it's a badass. It's just like $700-800. Awesome,
Nice.
awesome guitar. And it's cool because you can use it in metal, of course.
Hmm.
You got that thing going, but you can also just make it clean. We'll put a little reverb on it, and you can do some really cool things that way. I have a Fender Blues Deluxe Reissue 40-watt tube amp.
Nice.
Even though it's 40 watts, man, if you turn that thing up, which I never have gone beyond 5, turn that thing up, you're breaking windows
Oh,
and you're
yes.
getting you're getting some knocks at your door for sure. Um, awesome guitar. I used a couple pedals. Obviously the Chrome Mag tuner.
Hmm.
Yeah, and and capos. Capos are
Yeah,
important to me.
capos are a necessity.
Mhm.
All right, so I have one last question for you, and this is kind of the question that defines my show. I ask everybody that comes on this question. Now, you've been playing for a long time, so really put some thought into this. But if you woke up tomorrow and the music industry called you and said, Joey, you're the hottest guitar player in the world. Everybody wants to make your signature guitar. What would it be?
Ooh, I like this question. My signature guitar. So you mean like how would it be? What would it look like, and how would it be formed?
Anything. It could be an existing guitar company that makes it. It could be something you dream up. It can have whatever you want in it. It's literally it's your choice, man. The world is your playground for this one.